My boyfriend just told me he has a child he doesn't acknowledge. Title pretty much says it, but there are some clarifying details. We're both in our 30s and we've been dating for several months. It's been going incredibly well. He is by far and above the best partner I've ever had. He is kind, compassionate, empathetic, sweet, intelligent, well-read, the list goes on. I really can't get enough of him. I've never felt this way about anyone before. It truly feels like he's my other half even in just the short time we've been together. Last night he suddenly sprang some news on me. When he was in high school, the girl he was dating got pregnant. They agreed together to terminate the pregnancy, but she changed her mind and decided to give the baby up for adoption. He agreed with this plan. Then about 2 months before the due date she changed her mind again and decided to keep the baby. When she decided this, she and her parents had a conversation with him acknowledging that this wasn't the original plan and that they don't expect anything from him. They will never ask him for money or time and he was free to walk away. So he did. He was very clear with her and her family from the start that he doesn't want to be a father and he had no interest in being one. I didn't react very well to this story. I was completely shocked. I honestly thought he was joking at first. I couldn't find my words and I ended up crying. I think I was just overwhelmed. I couldn't believe the incredibly sweet, kind, and selfless man I know could also be the type of guy who has a child out there that they don't care about. They were both kids at the time, 18, and it was so long ago. He's not the same person he was when it happened. But I'm struggling with my feelings on this. I have so many preconceived notions about men who abandon their kids/girlfriends. How could he leave her to do this on her own? How could he leave the baby to grow up not knowing why their father didn't want them? But the more I think about it, it's essentially like he did give the baby up for adoption. If he had done that officially, would it really be that different? Would it be more morally correct to give the baby to strangers than leave the baby with their mom? I won't betray his trust and talk to my friends about this, but I need a think tank to process this information and my feelings. Has anyone ever experienced anything like this? If it's ever acceptable to abandon a baby, it feels like the situation would be the one, but I'm worried I might just be making excuses for him because I love him. I have made a lot of excuses in past relationships and I don't trust myself and my feelings like I probably should. I just want to make sure I'm being clear-headed about this. I ended up landing on just feelings of love and support for him. I want him to feel supported and heard, and I don't want him to feel like I'm judging him for a decision he made well over a decade ago. But I also don't want to be delusional. Thoughts? Comment. It's 3 months in. You don't really know this guy. It's easy to act like a loving, perfect partner for a few months. Then the real him comes out. And the real him is a guy who walked away from a kid who didn't ask to get made. Do you think Mr. Wonderful will stick by you when life gets rough? Let me preface this by saying I don't think guys who shirk their fiscal parental responsibility should get off the hook. That's not what this situation is about. In this situation you have an 18-year-old boy who first agreed that abortion was the solution to an unwanted pregnancy, and then agreed that adoption was the solution when his girlfriend changed her mind. It was her body, it was absolutely her decision to make. When she changed her mind again and decided to keep the baby, that was a decision entirely out of his control. He's really lucky that she and her parents didn't go after him for child support, but this was his unwanted child from the very start, and whilst people can romanticize that it would be lovely if he realized he wanted to be a father and co-parented or was at the very least slightly involved in the child's life, that's not the case and I don't think he should be punished for that. I do agree with the other posters that have said that if you want children you should sit down and have a conversation with him about whether or not he does, but it's entirely possible he does want children now at the stage in his life, and the fact that he has a biological child out there is irrelevant to how he may feel about a wanted child now. So he didn't completely walk away, he had contacted until the kid was a toddler and then he walked away. And why does he have a pic and his birthday marked down but hasn't him in years? I can understand a 18-year-old being scared and walking away, it sucks, but I get it. What I don't get is why did he have contact and then walk? Why have that pic and remember his birthday but completely deny his kid the chance to know him? So he didn't completely walk away, he had contacted until the kid was a toddler and then he walked away. And why does he have a pic and his birthday marked down but hasn't him in years? I can understand a 18-year-old being scared and walking away, it sucks, but I get it. What I don't get is why did he have contact and then walk? Why have that pic and remember his birthday but completely deny his kid the chance to know him? I don't get the dogging on Ops BF. He and the ex both agreed to abortion. She changed her mind to adoption. He still agreed. Then she decided she wanted to keep the baby by herself and suggested he would never have any obligations. For the third time, he did what she wanted. He gave up his child for adoption in every way except for filing official paperwork. Only by a legal technically is this any different than adoption. Do y'all hate women who give up their kids for adoption? I'm going to come at this from a slightly different angle than some of the other posters. 1. He didn't quite leave her high and dry. There were discussions with her parents and they let him off the hook. That feels different to me than him just running off and abandoning her with no support. There are also several posts here where a woman makes a similar choice to simply move forward on her own. 2. While there are very rational and understandable concerns about the child not knowing his father, we don't actually know he's hurting because of it. Personally, I never met my biological father, and decades later I wouldn't meet him if asked. I'm good with the family I have, not the family that wasn't interested. I also have a friend that had a lot of mental health struggles in earlier years, and simply wasn't in a place to be a good parent. The mom married a lovely man that adopted the little girl. She later reached out and built a bit of a relationship, but it's clear she had a great upbringing. So, your concerns are absolutely valid. If his actions don't align with your values, it's completely understandable to move on. I'm just offering a slightly different perspective to chew on. Next story 2. My husband has been emotionally cheating on me with a family friend. Me found out my husband has been emotionally cheating on me and I'm heartbroken. We have been together for almost 15 years, we separated for 3 years, back in 2014 to 2017 and apparently he got very close with this 34/F that is part of the family on his side. When we got back together I asked him about it because I had my suspicions, he declined being involved. In 2019 one drunk night he was vulnerable and he confessed to me he had a connection with this girl but nothing ever happened. I wasn't upset but more hurt how highly he spoke about her and how he really liked her and didn't tell me the first time. I have always been uncomfortable when she is around but decided to let it go and not think about it when she's around. Yes, I would see her all the time at his family gatherings and I eventually talked to her and liked her. This year 2023 as I was taking a photo of him with one of my family members I saw his Snapchat most commonly used. I don't know but something told me to look and the first conversation was from her and him. On one of the conversations, he asked her what if had not gone back with me and they would have dated instead. She responded that she doesn't do what ifs. I called her and she said that she doesn't know why he texted her that and said he would always ask her out when we were not together but she never wanted to date him because she didn't want to ruin the relationship they had as friends and both of their families are super close. She also said that every time she posts he always comments and put hearts on her stories. Now the problem is that I refuse to go hang out with his family because she is always there and now my sister-in-law is getting married and wants my husband to marry her this December. I eventually talked to my sister-in-law and told her I can't go because of what happened. I never told her to not invite her or made any comments of that sort. She told me this, well he did have a thing for her and we all told him to pursue her and go for it. He did tell us he liked her but he mentioned that he didn't want to ruin the family/friendship if it didn't work out with her, therefore he stopped pursuing, and we got back together. My sister-in-law also said she understands if I don't go. I told my husband he can go as this is a very special moment but I won't be there as she will be there. The conversation seemed as if they prefer her and her family than me. I'm crushed, I'm hurt, I feel betrayed and not sure if this will end our marriage. BTW, my husband keeps saying he made a mistake by texting her that and wants nothing to do with her and that he loves me but it doesn't feel genuine as actions speak louder than words. How to handle the issue, what questions I should ask my husband so he can come out clean and be truthful about his feelings. What do I tell his family? Should I go to the wedding even though she will be there? Thank you. Comment. Why are you not going because of her? She literally turned him down. She told you he continuously pursued her and she said no. He is the one who has feelings for her and is still commenting on her posts. You are not doing anything by not going, but giving him more opportunities to spend time 1:1 with her. I think your anger is really misdirected here. If you can't trust your husband and his words don't feel genuine, it's because of what he has done, not her. How does refusing to be around her or ignoring her change that? Rarely is anything accomplished by giving up territory. If you do not go, divorce him. If you do not want to divorce, then go. If you want to keep him, then you need to be there and protect your territory. You do not want to have him go there and make a further fool of himself and a bigger mess. As for your husband, for me, a lot of this would come down to timing. Was this going on when you were separated, or was it going on while you were together? Actions do count for more than words, but sometimes we need to be slapped before we see what our actions are doing. Lay it out for him. Tell him his actions say one thing and his words another. Make him see what he is doing. Part of what you are competing against here is fiction. He has an idea, not a reality, of what things would be like with her. You need to snap him out of that fog. That won't happen though if you avoid the issue, and that includes avoiding the wedding. Ugh, I think first, you need to decide if this relationship is salvageable. Ask yourself and him, do you trust him? Is he still in love with you? Does he still want to be with you? Ask to see his messages to her. Is he still into/attracted to her? What was the extent of their friendship/relationship? How long has he had these feelings for her? Has he ever confessed to her his emotions? Has he ever cheated on you previously to your knowledge with anyone? Whatever else you need to know. If you decide to stay, then you go to the wedding. If you aren't sure or know for sure the marriage is over, leave. How did you guys ultimately reconcile and get back together? Did you ever, up until recently, sense he wasn't fully into the idea of getting back together? I just have to say, you deserve to have someone love you in their entirety. I won't tell you to leave him, marriage counseling is a must if you wish to proceed. But you should definitely go to this wedding. Why are you going to miss this wedding because of her? You're giving her way too much power over your life. My 2 cents. This goes one of 2 ways. You go and stake your claim and make your presence known as his wife. B. You don't go, they drink, and the family pressures them to hook up, and they probably will. You may or may not find out about it until it only further emotionally wrecks you, or his family hits record on their phone to send it to you just to hurt you. You either need to be in or out. He needs to either be in or out. You do this full on or not at all, because you'd just be hurting your heart and wasting your time. You need to sit down and have a candid conversation with him. He either cuts her cold turkey, no more fucking hearts on her photos, and he's your husband, and he quits fantasizing about this woman, or he can go after her and leave you the hell alone so you can find someone who will love you wholeheartedly and stick up for you to his family. If you want to keep your marriage, you better take your happy butt to that wedding and look good as hell too. If he's sending her all that stuff through Snapchat, what do you think he would be doing face to face, especially with his family being supportive? If you're heartbroken and you're done, then contact the lawyer and file. Like you said, actions speak louder than words, and obviously his actions are showing you a true story.